So pick the platform to help, bring awareness to your products, but really just to your industry, like how you can help someone. And then from there, we want to collect those emails to start building the relationship.
Hey there, welcome back to Built Online, a podcast where we talk about all things online business, from e-commerce to digital marketing to building your dream life and your dream business. I'm your host, Cody McGuffie, and if you've been with us for a while, then you probably remember us as the Etsy Seller Podcast. Well, we're expanding. We're expanding our horizons and transitioning from just talking about Etsy businesses to covering all types of online businesses, because we believe that the opportunity is so massive that we should be covering some of the most unique businesses online. And at EverBee, we believe that everyone deserves the opportunity to pursue their passions and to live life on their own terms. And we believe in making e-commerce accessible to everyone throughout the world, no matter where they are. And we believe that anyone that truly pursues their passion and commits something great with an undeniable force of will, that they will succeed. Today's episode is part one of a two-part series episode. Let's jump into today's show. Oh, welcome back. This is
Yes.
second or third time, I think, having you on the podcast.
hmm Yeah, no, it's always fun chatting, man. And you and I, we always say that we want to, have these to just catch up for ourselves, and why not turn the recording on and we can just kind of let people listen in, right?
Kind of selfish, right? In a cool way. And I think that's kind of the cool thing about podcasts is you can be a little bit. The whole point of it is to kind of be a little bit coming from a very curious, a personal curiosity standpoint, and then
Yeah.
everyone else gets to just kind of like, if they're curious, they kind of want you to be curious because you're kind of being
Mhm.
curious on behalf of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It's almost like being a fly on the wall, right?
Exactly. Those are
I
the best
mean,
podcasts that I listen to. I value that.
yeah, I do too. I like when people share like things that they're working on, things that they're doing. And I know like, our audience for the most part right now is like Etsy people. And I get it, right? But one thing I would say to Etsy people is the Etsy thing that you're doing probably won't be the thing you're doing for the rest of your life. That I will say. It's going to be a
Why?
stepping stone. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a stepping stone. Like every if I look back at everything I've done, right? And we can talk about like the new channel, kind of like the new thing that I'm working on with my son, my 26-year-old son. Um, and just kind of how things evolve. Like I learned a long time ago from my father, who's 80 now, 80 or 81. I forget. He's in his 80s now. He's 80. But he basically told me one time years ago, he goes, Scott, don't ever say never, because your mind's going to change in 10 years and you're going to think differently. And boy, oh boy, was he right. But when I was like 20 years old, I didn't believe it. I'm like, screw that. I'm never going to own a minivan, Dad. Never. And Scott owned a minivan. Yeah, he did. I don't anymore, but I did. I caved. I was like, dude, I need convenience,
What do you own
right?
now? What kind of cars do you drive?
I have a Tesla now, the
Oh, which
the
one?
the Y, the Model
Nice.
Y.
How do you like it?
Um, I love it. I probably will never own anything else. I have a Jeep also. I have a Jeep Wrangler, hardtop. It's all, jacked up. I got the whole look going. Drives like crap. Got the big tires. You hear the thing humming down the road, but it's cool. It's fun with the top off and stuff. But I'm actually thinking about probably getting rid of that and probably getting another Tesla. Yeah.
I recently got the Cybertruck.
Did you really?
I did.
Oh, dude, I've been looking at those, and so we're gonna have to talk about that
Yeah,
because
yeah. Happy to.
my Scotty and I, Scotty's got Tesla too. He's got the 3, I believe.
Cool.
Yeah. So as soon as I got mine, about a month and a half went by, and he's like, I got to
Dude,
get one, and so he traded in his little Dodge Dart and and ended up getting a Tesla, and it's cool as heck. But yeah, man, that Cybertruck.
it's sick.
Did you
In
get it
fact,
wrapped too?
I did. I just got it wrapped black, satin black, blacked
Okay. I
out.
was gonna
Yeah.
say, because they said the big thing there is the fingerprints, right? On
Yeah.
the stainless, right?
Yep. Totally.
Okay.
I love it. It's like a toy. It's a new toy. So right? And
Yeah.
it's but when I look it back, it's funny. My wife and I, we live a very modest lifestyle. I would say,
Mm, mhm.
considering kind of all the things that we do,
Yeah.
our cars have always been Honda CRV, Chevy
Yeah.
Traverse,
Yep.
right? Like we had a Prius few years ago. Like that was us. So like this kind of we're getting like this is kind of our nicest coolest cool car that we've ever
Yeah.
got, and it's cool. I value it. I mean, I know that deep down, I believe that like cars and all that stuff is materialistic, and that I'm okay with that, and I like
Mhm.
it. But also, I know that it's fleeting, and I know that this car, I'm probably gonna want a new car in like 3 years from now, or two
Yep.
years from now. It's
Yep.
gonna go away. So
Yep.
as long as I keep that mindset, I feel okay about it.
Yeah, I think you're right. But like I said, going back to like how your mind changes, like, you know, I never thought I would own a minivan, right? I did. And the point
Yep.
is I never thought that I'd be talking about Etsy today, right? Like I just
Yep.
never I didn't think
Yep.
about it. I mean, Etsy's been around for a long time. And I've kind of like moved through these different, I guess, seasons of life is kind of how I look at it. And everything and I just talked about this the other day on a video that I shot. It's like everything that I talk about or everything that I do or want to share is typically things that I've either done or are doing now, right? So
Mm.
it's like I'm not just going to wake up one day and go, I want to talk about something brand new that I've never done before. Right. I'm not going to just say, and again, people have done that and been successful at it. It's like, oh, I want to talk about aquariums today because I want to get into aquariums. And then I'm going to start, you know, showing people what I'm doing with aquariums or learning about aquariums. That's fine. But I've always came from a place of like, whatever I'm doing, I want to share that if it can
Mm.
help someone else. And then I know now from what I've learned over the years that if you build an audience, there will be money at the on the back end of that somewhere somehow. I'm not really ever worried about where or how it's going to happen because I've been through it so much. But my point is like if you go back to my story, like I got out of the construction field, started a part-time photography business. That photography business turned into my full-time business. Then from there, did that for several years and then started teaching people online about photography. And then from there, I started learning about online business and online marketing. And I was dabbling with e-commerce. So then I started on Amazon. Then from Amazon, that turned into a podcast. From there, it turned into a business. And from there, it just kind of just keeps going through, kind of goes through those cycles. That's like, you know, my little book here on my bookshelf. That's what it was. Like I
I got
wrote that with all of those things, and that's why it's called the take action effect. It's like everything that you do, every action you take will lead to probably what you're going to be doing next. Sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's like confusing. You're like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Because this feels like
Mm.
I'm lost, but
Yeah, I've always admired that about you. You've always done an incredible job of sharing the journey that you're currently on, and you
mm,
bring everybody along with you, including myself, right? Selfishly, I just get to, like, come along with Scott and like learn about live content and like
mhm,
what was live content, what does that mean? And I remember
mhm.
Amazon FBAs when we first talked, or I'm sorry, when I first started listening to your
Yeah.
podcast. That was my first go at online entrepreneurship.
Mhm,
Um, it's interesting that you've been able to do that so well. And also, what's probably more interesting to me is that for your ability to shift gears
mhm,
from one thing to another thing,
mhm,
like it seems like you've done it so many times. You just named a bunch of times you've done it.
mhm,
Whereas I think that's actually pretty challenging. It's an interesting skill to have.
mhm.
And
It is.
you've been successful with doing it. So there must be some sort of formula there that you're using and you're just repeating the playbook.
It is. I mean, that's the book again, right? I'm not promoting the book, but it is on Amazon if you want to go check it out. But
I got it on Audible. Yeah,
yeah, Audible, yeah. Yeah, the Audible one was actually that was hard to do actually. It took me 2 days to record that in a studio in California, and
mm,
that was actually another challenging thing that I wanted to do, and it's cool though because the audiobook has some stories that I didn't share in the book. They just kinda
mm,
came off the top of my head,
that's cool.
and I like that when authors read their book, and then when they kinda go off script and they share a
Yeah,
story
yeah,
that
me
they
too.
might not have added in the book. I like
I
that.
wanna I wanna get with you on that eventually, because I wanna write some books too. I have a couple things. Not this year, not even maybe not next year, but like in future years.
Yeah, and I probably got another one in me too. I just don't know if I have the bandwidth to wanna do it right now. I'm like, I'm not ready. You know what I mean? I think when
Yeah.
you're ready, you're ready. And this isn't like, "Oh, I'm gonna sell 1,000,000 copies and,
No, it's not like
I'm gonna
that.
make a whole bunch of money." This here was really a piece so my kids can look back
Yep,
and they can
legacy
see
stuff.
what we did. 'Cause my wife's included in here. It's like what we did, the struggles we went through, the embarrassing things we did, going selling Amway, like doing all of the things like back in the day, multi-level marketing, like all of this stuff that kinda led to this. And to your point, like, yeah, I've done a lot of things. Not everything's worked. Right. So everything, even recently, like my son and I started a podcast that is not really the podcast we're doing now, or not even the podcast, but the video stuff that we're doing now, that the channel that we're building wasn't what it was 6 months
Pivoted.
ago. We pivoted already, because it wasn't what it didn't feel right. It wasn't, we didn't see like the bigger vision. It wasn't the impact that we wanted to make. So we switched. But you're right. There is a playbook, and the playbook always starts. There's actually, I came up with these three letters that basically kind of describe like what it is. There's like three, and I call it ARM, which is ARM, and it's basically attention, relationship, monetize, money.
Mm,
Basically, that's it. So if you can build the audience,
I'm
if
taking
you
notes.
can build a relationship with the audience, the money will be there. And there's different ways that you can do all that. Same thing with Etsy. What people don't realize is like, yes, you're selling products, but you're selling products to a person. And if you can build an audience, or even your shop where people want to come back to the shop, uh, you're building awareness for your products. It's not
Mm.
just like someone's typing in a keyword, they find your product, they buy your product, they never see you again. So to me, it goes hand in hand, and that's why if I'm going to put the time and effort in, I want to focus on audience. Like, who am I targeting? What am I serving them? And can I create a relationship with them so they trust me? And then from there, can I eventually turn that into a transaction?
I love
And
that.
you know,
I have some questions here. I just took some notes on this too. Attention, ARM, attention, relationships, monetize. So if
yep,
anyone looking into this, take notes of
yep,
this stuff, because this is the simple stuff, the fundamentals that are kind of like the baseline of everything, right? Everything else is
uh-huh,
just like tools and resources
yep,
now.
yep,
So let's use an example maybe, and
mhm,
I'll just use a fake example. How about a
mhm,
social media template
mhm,
creator, right? And this person sells social media templates to maybe social media people that want to grow their social media, or maybe people that want to, or maybe agencies that
mhm,
want to create social media templates for other people and sell them. The
okay,
point is, that's their product, right?
mhm,
They need to use this ARM framework here.
mhm.
Can we go through? Is this a decent
Yeah,
example to use?
great example.
Okay.
Great example. So I've
Let's
already
go.
got some ideas, and I've already got some things where the very first thing. So if we're targeting like people who want to sell templates, let's say they're selling on Etsy, even, right? Like they're selling on Etsy, they're selling these digital templates that they can, people can use, and they're going to help them with their social media.
Okay.
First thing I would do is I would then try to target an industry. So now my templates are going to be more targeted towards not just
Uh,
everyone on social media. It's going to be the
Physical
niche.
therapist,
Yep.
or no, let's use it. Fitness. How about this? Because
Yep.
Scotty, your son is he's in fitness and stuff too, right?
Yep.
Let's all
Yep.
fitness trainers.
Yep. Okay. So fitness trainers, they're trying to look for clients. They want to get clients. So they're going to need these social media templates. So you're going to build templates for them. Right. So that's like the product. So with Etsy, a lot of times we're starting with product. If we're on Amazon, we're starting with product. We're always starting with the product because that's where a transaction is going to be made. But we need to take a step back, and we need to say, okay, if we want to build this thing into a business, and I always say this with Etsy people, because a lot of times people are getting started on Etsy just to make the transaction. They're not doing it to necessarily build a brand or a business. So the way that I look at it is like, let's take a step back now. What, how are we going to attract the people other than the people are just searching on Etsy, right? Let's pretend like they're not searching on Etsy right now. We have to find a way to get attention in this industry. So now we either have to, okay, go out and give education about how to market your fitness business, right? So what are some tips that you could give someone about, marketing their fitness business? Here's 3 things I did to get 5 clients in the last month. And then I would share that, right? And I'm helping someone. And oh, by the way, I use social media templates. If you want to, if you want to get a free one, put in the comments. And I'm talking YouTube, if you were YouTubing, or if you're on social media, or if you're on Pinterest, you do the same thing. You would
And we're
basically try
talking
to build an
we're
email
talking
list.
the attention here. We're
Yep.
talking attention to be very clear.
We're,
So we
we're,
went
we're in
through
the A
product.
right now. We're in the
Yeah.
A, right? We're just getting attention. Yes, you have products to sell. Let's just leave them in the store right now, because it's like you just built a store, but no one knows you exist. Right. So like, let's take a step back and build attention. Part of that attention is I want to start working on how I'm going to be able to build the relationship. So you're going to build the relationship, which is the R. Okay. The R in this equation. So we're getting the attention, but now how do we keep the attention, and how do we how are we able to then communicate with these people and keep showing up? We can't rely on social media, even though we're selling social media templates. We can't rely on that because social media is always pulling back on the reach. So, what's a way that we can do this? We can start building an email list. So, I mean, Cody, you know me, right? You've
Yeah.
been knowing me for a long time. What do I always preach? Doesn't matter what business you're selling, doesn't matter what industry, what platform. It's like if you're not building an email list, you are at the mercy of the algorithm. Like
That's it.
you are, right? So we want to build that email list, which is part of the attention, but it's also part of the relationship building. Because if we build that list, then we can start to communicate with those people and share these nuggets and these tips about promoting their fitness business,
Scott, you
right?
do this right here. You do this better than anyone I know. I
Oh, thank
constantly,
you.
I mean that. You send out emails. I'm on your email list on
Hmm.
pretty much, hopefully, I think a lot of your products, almost all your products.
Hmm.
I'm just learning from you, honestly. When you
Hmm.
send out an email, I'm like, damn. I even told my team the other day. What was it? We were getting ready. We wanted to test something, and I'm just
Hmm.
like, but we didn't want to like. We wanted validation before we actually produced it, right? To made the
Sure.
thing because it was gonna take a lot of effort. And I'm
Hmm.
like, we should test it. And they were just like, yeah, how should we send this email out? I'm like, do you guys remember anytime Scott's thinking about doing a training, before he does the training, he sends, hey, should I do this? And you like literally, you just ask directly, like so honestly,
Right.
so genuine. And then
Right.
people either respond yes or no, maybe no response. And
Right.
if you get like X amount of people, then you go and do
Yep.
the thing.
Yep.
But that happens because you have such a good relationship with your
Hmm.
audience.
Yep.
So and anyway, sorry to break that up. I just need to mention that
No,
you're an
no.
expert at this.
And I think like people don't realize, but I learned from other people. I learned from their emails. I signed like, okay, I've got a good buddy of mine, Ryan Lee. Okay. Ryan Lee, I mean, if you looked at my phone, him and I, we communicate probably once a day. Now, this guy, Ryan Lee, he's been in doing this longer than me. Him and I are the same exact age. We're cut from the same cloth. He's 52. I'm 52. And he's a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker, but he's a little bit more New Yorker. He lives in Connecticut actually, but he's got the whole, New York accent and everything. But my point is this: he's built so many companies in health and fitness. Uh, he was one of the first that did like membership site training, things like that, like multi-million dollar like launches, events, everything, right? We're super good friends now, wasn't then, but I learn from his emails and he's a good friend of mine. Like he'll send an email I'm like, damn, that was a great friggin' hook. Wow. That was like, he's a master at it. And I'm still learning. If I ever run into a snag, this is no joke. If I ever run into a snag, I'm like, man, I just don't know how to start this email today.
Mm,
Right. I'll go Ryan Lee in my inbox. He's a good buddy of mine. Right. And I go, that's how he started it. Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and use that as my framework too. And the starting is like, how did he lead into the story? Because
mm,
sometimes getting started is the hardest part. My point is this: I want to learn from other people that are doing it successfully, that I like the way that they're marketing. And so that all to say, like email is there's no algorithm with email. Yes, there's spam and like you got to get through the spam traps. And there's ways that we can finesse that a little bit. And one way is just don't use a whole bunch of links, don't use a whole bunch of images and things like that, especially in the beginning. It's like we want to train the algorithm or the spam filters that this person has opened an email in the past. So your first couple of emails, little bonus tip here is like the first few emails you send when you start to build your list, I would limit the amount of images and text and things like that, because I want the least amount of resistance getting into someone's inbox to where they actually open an email. If they open it, then that sends a signal to the spam trap like, oh, this person communicates with this
mm.
person. So let's let
So
the ones with thumbnails and everything get in there.
I love this. And since we're on the same topic of kind of like little quick tips, also I
Yeah.
was just sharing this with I think my sister the other day when we were talking about email marketing. She's new to this.
Hmm.
And I gave her two other tips too, which was, hey, when you're sending an email and you want them to do something, call to action, don't
Hmm.
give them three call to actions.
Right.
Give them one thing that you want them to do and make
Yep.
sure that's the thing, right? That's
Yep.
the thing. Unless you really don't care about them taking action, that's fine. Like just a
Yeah.
resource one. But if you
Yeah.
want them to do something, only have one thing in there for them to do. Otherwise, it just won't be effective.
Yep. So I usually have only the one thing, but then there's also the only time I'll ever add something else. I just did this the other day for EverBee, by the way. So
Mm.
kudos to. you guys for having such a killer product. But at the very bottom of the email, I always do a PS.
I got that from you too. Yeah.
Yeah, but then at the very bottom, what I'll do sometimes is I'll put like dot 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 dot, to make it give it a separation or some, some
Mhm.
hyphens or whatever, right? And then below that, I just in this one I had said, a lot of people or Scott, what tools do you use? Question mark. And then I said, I get this question a lot. And so if you're wondering, it's very simple. I use one, it's EverBee. And
Mm.
if you go through my link, you'll buy me a cup of coffee, and I would appreciate that because I love my coffee. And that was the email. Now, I literally added that at the bottom. Why? Because people do ask me that.
Sure.
And the other reason why is because I want people to go through my link and actually sign up and use the tool because I think it's a great tool, right? And I'm going to get a commission, right? And yes, you are going to buy me a cup of coffee. But I did that because I was like, and here's the other thing. I can look in my tracking and see, oh, how many people clicked on that link? How many
Mm.
people read the whole email all the way down to the bottom and go into that footer? So it's pretty interesting to see that too.
How
But that's
many
another,
how many a quick question here. How many
yeah,
emails per day or is too much per week? Can you send out one email per day to somebody? I get
you
this question
can.
a lot.
Mhm.
And is it too much?
Ryan Lee sends out one email a day generally. Sometimes he'll send even two. He'll call one after dark. He's got an after dark email. And he's like, "Hey, after dark, friends, I know we're up late right now. We can get a little edgy here at night, but I figured I'd send this one out because I wanted you guys to see this before the
Love that.
morning or
I
something
think
like
it's
that." So he just makes it fun.
that's so cool and also valuable, right? Like I don't know Ryan, but
Mhm.
I know that
Yep.
you're valuable, value based. EverBee is value based too.
Mhm.
I talked to my sister, for example, like we were having this conversation. I'm just like, the first thing that everyone worries about is like how many emails is too many, right? Should I email them
Yep.
once a week, once a
Right.
month?
Right.
Like what happens if they like don't want that if I'm bugging them? And I'm like, nobody does that. Nobody reads
Mhm.
every email that you send.
Nope.
And you're not bugging them as long as you're not selling them constantly and being a pest about like trying to get them to buy your stuff every email. Just like add value, help them, like seem genuine. And people love being on your list typically.
Well, and that's so what I just did, like if I ever run out of like, okay, what am I going to say this week? Like I do want a goal of like what's the reason that I'm sending this
Mm,
email? Like this week we're driving towards like whatever, right? Like right now we're in a period where I'm not really promoting anything because we just promoted our Q4 training camp. And I was aggressive, right? Like I was aggressive for probably a week, pretty aggressive, right?
yeah,
And I mean aggressive, like I emailed more. Like even on our Sunday when it was a deadline, I sent out 3 emails: one in the
yeah,
morning, one in the afternoon, one at night, right? And so after I do that, I'm not going to go and promote a whole bunch. So now what I want to do is I want to come back and build up that goodwill again. So
yeah,
I look at like goodwill as like a bank. You're depositing goodwill. You're going to deplete some of it. Some people are going to get, a little upset or, not even upset, but just like annoyed or like, I don't want to
yeah.
receive
They're
that.
not buyers right there. Yeah,
Yeah, they're not buyers anyway and whatever. And if they haven't seen all the value I've given up to this point and you're not going to allow me to promote a little bit. And it's not hard promote. I'll usually include a lesson in there and just say, hey, and just I wanted to give you a last minute reminder that we're closing or whatever.
yeah,
But I look at like every email, like what is the direction? What's the purpose of this? So like I sent one out on this Monday, and it was for our Etsy shop audits. Well, our Etsy shop audits, they're released on Thursdays. But I also have now what I call the Backstage Pass Club, which is $9.99 a month. And you get to sit in on a live recording of us batch recording
so cool.
2 to 3 episodes before they air. And you get to ask us questions. It's through YouTube. It's a membership. And I want to bring awareness to that, but I don't want to just promote that. So I had someone say, it was Amanda, her name was, and she was maybe 3 months ago. We did an audit with her, and she posted on Facebook. I just wanted to give an update. Since the audit, I was able to go from I think it was like 250 or 300 orders to now I've gotten 800 orders,
Wow.
and I've went from like it was like $5,000 to $13,000, and I wasn't even able to implement all that was said on the audit, but I just want to thank Scott and Chris or whatever. So I'm like, oh my
Dude,
gosh, all right, so let's take that, let's highlight this, and then link people over to the Etsy shop audit, which is free, right? But I also got to throw in there, and oh, by the way, she's part of our Backstage Pass club. If you'd like to join us on our next live call, go here, right? That was it. But I'm still giving them a 45 to a 50-minute Etsy shop audit where it's free. It resides on YouTube. I send people to the YouTube channel, and now there's the opportunity for them to buy. But I didn't like hard sell there.
And even if you did hard sell, by the way, if you genuinely believe in your product
Mhm.
and you genuinely believe in your brand and you genuinely believe that your thing is going to help them
Mhm.
feel the way they feel or you want them to feel the way they
Yeah.
want to feel,
Yeah.
or help them with their goals. Typically,
Mhm.
that's what EverBee or you guys do.
Yep.
Then, like, you're almost obligated to hard sell. You're like, dude, this is actually life changing. If you do this, I know you're having a hard time jumping over the fence. As soon as
Yep.
you jump over,
Yep.
you now have the opportunity to win.
Yeah.
And I think I personally, I mean, I guess if you're just committed, really like really committed to your product and you really
Mhm.
think you're the best,
Yeah.
dude, I mean, you're kind of supposed to hard sell, aren't you? I mean, you're kind of doing them a disservice if they don't buy your stuff. If
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
believe.
I think it's a hard balance because, like you said, like hard selling. Like, what is hard selling?
Yeah,
Hard
yeah.
selling, like hard selling could be like you buy my stuff or you're going to be a loser. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
that.
I guess not the hard sell. Yeah, never mind.
You
Not
know what I
that.
mean? It's just it's okay to mention your stuff and not be afraid to sell. And what I
Mhm.
mean by sell is like, I mean, a simple example of this is like, and I do this for my wife's stuff. It's like, hey, this past weekend I had this inspiration to create a new flag, right? And I spent like a couple of hours doing it. I love doing, my creations, and I'm super excited to share it with you. I hope you guys like it. And if you want one of these before I fully, push it on Etsy or whatever, I'd like to give you 25% off for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. Right. I'm excited about something I created,
Yeah.
which is legit, which is true, blah, blah, blah. Right. And then, hey, if you want to go buy one, I'll give you 20% off. So there's value there too.
Yeah, I agree
But
with
that
this.
that would be like a sell, like
Yeah.
a but I think hard sell would mean like you're promoting, and I do recommend this, like that, and you're right, like people they don't want to seem like they're pushy or they're selling, right? But like if you're running a sale, and I think this is a big takeaway for anyone right now using EverBee email, like right now, if you have your email list, I don't care if it's 20 people, if you're gonna run a sale, you better have a deadline to that sale, and you
Mhm.
better remind them at least 3 times. You want to open up with the email, "Hey guys, this weekend we're going to do a special 25% off for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want, go here. We appreciate your business. Thank you so much for being a past customer or whatever," right? Boom. There's one. Next day, "Hey guys, just want to remind you, just in case you missed the email yesterday, we're doing this. This is why we're doing it. Go here." And then the last day, "Hey, want to let you know today's the last day. I mentioned it. You might have missed it. You might have been busy, but
Totally.
here's the link. Go buy it." Like, if you just did that versus you sending out one email, "I'm running a sale," it's like you're going to make so much more on the back end of that. And people are probably going to thank you because they get busy, right? They're
Yeah.
like, "Thank you for
They're
reminding me."
they're happy about it. Yeah, like, I
Right?
completely agree with that. They actually expect it. Like, me as a consumer, as a buyer, I'm expecting them to send me 3 other reminders because when I
Yep.
got it, I'm like, "Ah, it's okay. I can't do it right now. I'm
I've
busy,
got
but, like,
time.
yeah, I
Yep.
got some time." And I'm
Yep.
kind of relying on Scott. And if Scott doesn't email me telling me at the deadline, again, on the
Mhm.
last day,
Yep.
I'm gonna be a little bit disappointed that I missed the sale if I actually wanted that product.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it happens to all of us. I mean, I do it all the time. I mean, I get, I buy the fresh, clean teas. I'm part of their thing, right?
Mm,
And they'll send me emails every day. They send an email. And sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, that's a really good deal, and I wanna get the new colors that came out," right? And I'm like, "But I'm just not gonna do it right now." I know they're gonna send me a reminder tomorrow, right?
mhm.
And it's gonna remind me, and I'm okay with that. I'm not mad at them, So I like the product, I like the brand, so,
Keeping
um
keeping it going here for okay, so now we've talked about attention, and when I to summarize attention is it's basically getting eyeballs, and it's
Mhm,
getting people to see you somehow. So it could be YouTube, it could be short form TikTok, it could be Instagram, it could be Instagram Reels, and it could be
mhm,
Facebook Reels, and it could be even podcasts, I guess.
mhm,
That's attention. With that, you're kind of merging relationships, but
mhm.
really driving to it sounds like a landing page probably to
Yep,
capture your email list,
yep,
right?
yep,
To capture an email. And
mhm.
do you exchange something of value to get that email?
Yes.
How do you typically do it?
Yeah, 100%. So let's use the fitness,
Okay.
the fitness trainer that's trying to sell his or her templates. So it would be like you'd give those tips like, here's 3 things that I've done on social media to get more clients, right? And then you basically share like, these are the things I put in my post. Here's why I put them in there. And then you're like, hey, if you want to get one of my free templates, just put fitness in the comments and I'll
Mm,
send it to you. And then,
mm,
or you can just put the link in there. I don't like to do that. For YouTube, I like to actually now have people comment
mm.
for 2 reasons. One, it adds engagement. Number 2, I'm able to now connect with them. So now we have a
Build a
connection.
relationship, yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, I get to build the email list on the back end of that. But you could just drop your link in there. And then just, and another little pro tip here is, if you're using EverBee email, you're building your landing page. I don't recommend taking the link that you guys give people and just putting that in something, because a lot of times it's not clickable.
Mm.
And if it's not clickable, no one's going to type in, whatever the long link
Sure, sure.
is. So I would buy like, whatever your company is, let's just call it, Fitness Pro, fitnesspros.com is your brand, right?
Mhm,
So then I would buy a domain name from GoDaddy or wherever. I would do fitnessprovip.com. And then
mm.
that would be the link that I would use. And then I would forward your link that is created in an EverBee email to that. So this way here, I could say, hey, if you want, and if you didn't want to do the, hey, comment below, you could just say, hey, if you want to go to fitnessprosvip.com, go there, sign up, and I'll send you a free template.
Love
That's
it.
it.
Okay.
Super easy.
That free template, sometimes people get caught up in this, and I wanted to flesh it out. How much value what kind of perceived value should it have in order to exchange that email to get the best results? I think you used to have a framework for this back in the day, like $20 or $100 or whatever it was.
Yeah. So if we're doing it for your Etsy product, like let's just say, for example, you are selling pod or you are selling, these templates. And let's say that the template, in this case, if it's templates are going to be usually generally cheaper, although if you're helping someone get more business, you can probably charge more,
Yeah,
right? But if you're just selling like, clip art for someone to do scrapbooking, it's going to be hard to convince them to spend more than $10 on some digital downloads. But if you
sure.
have templates that you have used, and that's the other key too, is like, have you used these? Have they worked for you? Like having some of this proof really does build it
Yeah,
up
yeah.
too. It's like, here's 5 templates that I've used to generate $100,000. Like, would you want those templates?
Yeah,
Of
of course I would,
course.
yeah, and I'd
Right.
probably
And you'd pay,
pay $100 for them in their
exactly. You'd pay $100 for those, right? So there's just a different, whoever you're trying to target. But yeah, so if we were running, which actually we're going to be doing this. Actually, we're going to be testing this for one of my wife's Etsy products. We're going to do it for the holiday season. I'm going to run Facebook ads, very, very low budget, 5-10 bucks a day. I'm going to drive them to a landing page
Mhm.
for the product. Okay. But we're going to give 25% off. And to get it, you click on the link and it's going to take you to the landing page, which we're going to build an EverBee email. And then from there, they're going to enter their name and email address. It's going to send them to a landing page. Again, that's created inside EverBee email. And then it's going to have the code there and the link going directly to the store.
Mm.
So I'm going to be testing that. So I'll have to report back and let you know how it does. But the reason why we're doing that is obviously to build an email list, but also to intercept people that didn't actually buy. We never want to go direct to product from a Facebook ad that we're paying for, because I want more attempts to try to get them to purchase in the future.
Yeah, so you
But
go Facebook ad
yep,
to landing page
yep.
with basically, it's gonna be a giving away something, correct? Like you're
It's
giving
either giving away the giving away could be 25% off versus it being like, we also do a giveaway where we'll do like, win this, the bass fishing, bundle, right? And then we would have like 5 of our products or 4 of our products. And then that would be like the free giveaway way. If we want to go direct to sale, which that's what we're going to test, because I think here's the thing that can really, and moving into Q4, this is why it's so important that if you did this early, especially for like people that buy gifts for people, that post that's on Facebook can start to get its own traction. People are
mm,
going to be commenting because they're going to be like, oh, I love this, or they're going to tag one of their friends in it or multiple friends in it. They're going to like it. They're going to share it, all of that stuff. So it starts to become like an organic piece as well. But again, how much do you have in margins to allow for that? If you're not collecting an email address, okay, let's say that
Yeah.
you're just going from straight ad to Etsy. There's no way that you're going to be able to message them again, right? There's just no way. You're relying on Etsy to do the marketing for you. So I want to intercept that email address. Now I know that they entered because they want the 25% off of the item. So I know they're interested in the item. Now I'm going to follow up if they don't buy in a week. I'm going to follow up with a 3-day little deadline that says, hey, this is going to expire. And then boom. And then I see if I can recoup some of the ad money. But we just went through the numbers the other day with my wife and I. We're going to actually do it for a sweatshirt. And and I think we figured out our numbers. It's like, I think we're right now, without spending any money on ads, we're going to be netting around $23 to $24. So I can spend
Wow.
$5, $10 on conversion, from a sale.
How much is the average order value of this product?
The order value is like 50 some dollars.
Okay. And
Um,
your margin is 20, you said $20 to $25.
Yeah, we're getting it's about 23. We actually used the EverBee calculator to
Hey,
get all our fees, and we popped it in there. And with shipping and everything, we're still going to be netting around 23.67 is what it
so you
was.
could spend in theory $20
I
and
could
you're
spend $20 to acquire a customer, 100%.
and totally
Yep.
reasonable to do that. You believe in Facebook ads today?
Yes and no. I'm going to test it.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's going to depend on the market. It's going to depend on the offer, timing, all of that stuff. I'm not a huge, like, I don't run Facebook ads anymore on brand creator stuff. I just don't. Um, because it's a whole nother world. But heading into a Q4, it's definitely an opportunity to test it. And it's because it's gift giving time, right? So someone could buy 1, 2, 3 because they want to give one to their daughter and their other daughter
Mm,
and themselves, right? Like, it's, to me, so I'm going to test it this year because I want to. I want to
yeah,
see if it's going to work. And
fun
it's, I'm only
experiment.
going to, like I told my wife, I go, let's spend like, let's put a cap on it. We're going to spend $500. If we lose it, we just poofed it in the wind, right? But that $500 also becomes a deduction on my taxes because, I spent money to try to, make money. But yeah, we're going to test it. We're going to test it. But yeah.
Monetization. I think we've already kind of merged into monetization, the third layer of this ARM framework.
Yep.
Anything else you
Yeah.
want to add to monetize?
Well, yeah, okay. So we're using this example of the Etsy fitness trainer, right?
Okay.
So we're getting attention somewhere, right? I'm gonna say, like, if you were a fitness trainer, I would say go on YouTube. I wouldn't say TikTok right now. I think TikTok is cool and all. I just don't think it still has the longevity
Yeah.
for a piece of content. I still think it's still the wild, wild west. It really is. And I think, like, if you're trying to build assets, that's the way I look at it too. Like, whenever I'm creating content, I'm creating an asset. Like, you doing this podcast is an asset for your business, right? You're bringing value. You're also highlighting EverBee, and people are going to get to know you and me and decide if they want to do business with either of us, right? Like, that's how it works. Um, so the attention piece, pick a platform that you feel comfortable on, or also that your audience is on.
Where do they
If it's
hang
on
out?
Facebook, go to Facebook. That's fine. I just like assets that are evergreen. So, like, if you put a piece of content up on YouTube, it's going to be there a year from now,
Yeah,
right?
the way that I described it, as instead of evergreen, I used the word compound.
Hmm.
What are things that just like
Hmm.
compound over time? Like YouTube videos,
100%.
there's stuff that's been here for 10 years
Yep.
on the YouTube platform still. So like if
Yep.
I'm planning on being in business for well over 10 years, so
Exactly.
let's do that, right?
Yeah, you're building those assets. So, yeah, so pick the platform to help, bring awareness to your products, but really just to your industry, like how you can help someone. And then from there, we want to collect those emails to start building the relationship. So we're building the relationship with the content that we're creating, but we're also, but yeah, so, we've got we've got, like, the attention, then the relationship building, which is through your content, but also through building your email list, and then repeating that, right? Like, repeating that over time. And as we're doing that, we're also going to be mentioning a product if we sell a product, which in this case, it would be our templates. Okay. Um, and then from there, we would also maybe we would then ask our audience, hey, what else do you want to see from us? Like, what else do you,
Mm,
so now we can kind of lean into the audience and go, hey, what are you struggling with? Like, what do you want us to help us with within your fitness business? And then who knows, maybe you create a course and then you now sell the course, or maybe you can, and this is again, a lot of Etsy people don't think outside of the Etsy platform, but if like you're doing this now, think about like if we're using the Fitness Pro thing, you're probably using exercise equipment. Well, we can probably link over to Amazon and we can be an associate for them and be an affiliate. That's
yep,
another part of the monetization. So I'm looking at like the M, like the money, the monetization is not just one pod product or one digital product. I'm looking at like, yes, I can sell them a physical product. Yes, I can sell them a digital product. Yes, I can sell them an affiliate thing, and then if you build an audience over here, we can also probably get sponsors that would want to, get their message in front of our
yeah.
audience. So
Monetization is
it,
actually fairly the easiest part after you kind of understand it a little bit. It's
yes.
actually as soon as you have the audience and the relationship, monetization, there's usually like 7 to 15 different streams of income
Mhm.
you could probably generate off of a deep audience and relationship typically.
Yep. Yep.
EverBee, in theory, if we cared about bookkeeping, for example,
Yep.
if I was really passionate about bookkeeping, I could probably go and help a lot of sellers
Mhm.
with their e-commerce bookkeeping, right? And like
Right.
that's not my bread and butter. It's just like because we have a relationship, we can do this. If you're
Yep.
talking about fitness all day, you can help them get the right equipment, the dumbbells, or you can help them get the right fitness program, or you can
Yep.
help get the right supplements, or
Right.
you can help them with a course. It's like you said, it's just
Or
endless.
you can help them, or you can, it's not even helping them, or you can give them the opportunity to buy a shirt that represents you being a trainer, or you being obsessed with like just discipline, or like you could have this mantra and then that mantra becomes another product that you sell on Etsy, which is something that my son Scotty and I, we're building this other channel, but well, actually we are monetized now. We actually monetized on YouTube. We already got monetized there,
Hey,
which
congrats.
was exciting. 89 days it took us to get fully unlocked with our
Uh,
monetization. And then, we've already made some sales through affiliate stuff, but it's really early too. So I wasn't even expecting this. But we've also thought about creating some shirts. And there's a message that I actually shot a video. I was in Puerto Rico with my wife. We were on our 30th wedding anniversary, kind of celebrating, and I brought my gimbal and my phone and my little lav mic, and I recorded a video of a message that I wanted to get out to people that were trying to create their own audience and things like that. And the title was something along the lines of like, stop chasing money, chase
mm,
impact. And I'm
mm,
like, damn, that makes a good shirt. So now I've got an idea for a shirt, and I'm probably going to make the shirt, create the shirt, and then we're going to probably list it, on a place like, like Etsy. And then we're going to just that's the place where the transaction is going to take place. Are people searching for this shirt? No, but I could probably title it in a way that's like for entrepreneurs, like things like that. But
mm.
my play there isn't like I'm going to put it on Etsy and I'm going to get all the attention there. I'm getting the attention over here. I'm just going to make the transaction over there.
Understand
That makes
completely.
sense?
It does. Okay, so we covered the ARM framework. I know there's a million ways we can go deeper in
Yeah.
this, but I want to ask uh, one selfish question, and then I want to
Mhm.
ask another, I guess, kind of selfish question too about live content school. But first,
Yeah.
question about email on that topic. Um, I have somebody in my network that they were asking me. They wanted to literally create a Facebook ad. They have a pet, like a pet brand for
Okay.
pet parents,
Yep.
and a little bit more general. It's not necessarily like a specific type of breed or anything like that.
Okay.
And they're trying to build an audience
Mhm.
through Facebook ads to a landing page to capture email and then put
Yep.
them through an email sequence and all this stuff.
Mhm.
Uh, they asked me, hey, for some feedback. And basically I was like, just go follow Scott and Chris,
Mhm.
like go and like, just go to their YouTube channel and sort it out
Yep.
because it's just a lot of stuff in there to learn. You can't just
Sure.
teach it in a 30-minute call. And I was going to ask you, do you have a specific course on this, some sort of program on that specific subject that I can
Mhm.
send to them to buy?
Mhm.
I guess
I
that's the
do.
question. Do you?
Yeah, I do. We don't even really promote it. I think we promoted it once. Um, but it's yeah, it's what we call our one day email I think it's one day email list is what it's called,
Cool.
because you can set this all up in one day. And I mean, the gist of it is, and this kind of came from, which I shared this on my YouTube channel, which was what I call the fishbowl method, which is basically your giveaway model. So it's like,
Yep.
years ago, my wife and I own a photography business, and we did like a school gala where we would donate a package, like it was $250 package. But while we were there, we set up a little booth. We had easels with our photography to show it off. But then we had a fishbowl that you could enter your name and email address. This is going way back. Put a name and email address in there. And at the end of the gala, we were going to pick a winner and announce that they're going to win it for, or they're going to win a package for $250. But now there's 99 other people that entered that didn't win. So then we emailed all those people, and then we booked more appointments. So I took the same method, the fishbowl method, and we modernized it. And now what we do is we use, a tool, which, eventually I hope EverBee, kind of comes up with something here for EverBee email. We were talking about that a little bit. But yeah, so basically we're going to use a tool that's a giveaway tool. Because the important thing here is we want to drive traffic from Facebook. So this is what we've done. And I've done this on other brands. I actually did this for a brand that we built on, or off of Amazon. I did the same thing. We built an email list before we even had a product to sell,
How many people
using the same.
how many people did you build in like, let's any given period of time? Like, what we talking
That
hundreds?
particular one, we built an email list of over 5,000 emails in 30 days. And we
Wow.
probably spent about $1,000 to do that. But
Wow.
that also helped us launch 5 products on Amazon and basically drive up our rankings, because we were able to
100%.
sell 120 units in like 3 days. So
Wow.
so the same thing applies, and we've done the same thing in my wife's brand. We did the same thing, and I think we built our email list, like, again, maybe like 800 to 1,000 email subscribers in like 30 days, but we didn't go as aggressive with spending. I think we spent $5 to $10 a day.
What's
And
the
so,
average cost per email there? And like, was it 50
it's
cents?
like 30 cents maybe. I mean, our threshold's always like $1. Like, I don't want to spend more than $1 an email address. But usually we've been getting between 20 and 30 cents, which
Okay.
is really good.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I guess my question is like, why would you stop at 1,000 or 5,000 in this case, if that's such a good, like, was there a certain point where the costs were just going up and you couldn't
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
return?
When you start to get to, like, when you get to start thinking about scaling,
Sure.
that's when you start to kind of like, because Facebook, and we can go down that rabbit hole another time, but it's like
Yeah.
Facebook has different ponds that it tests, right? So it's like, oh, we're going to drop it over here and see, even though you're targeting fitness pros, right? It's going to pick a fitness pro pond, and it's going to try it there. And if it doesn't do well there, or if it does really good there, then you're off to the races. But then it's like, okay, we ran out. We already kind of went through that pond, and we caught as much as we can. We're going to go to another one and test it in the fitness thing, and it tests it and it doesn't do as good. Right. So as you try to spend more money, it has to find more ponds to try to test.
Interesting.
Even though it's a big pond, it's different parts of the pond, right?
Wow.
It's trying to catch leads, if you
You know
will.
what's the cool thing about this in my head is if you're super creative and you're really passionate about your specific niche,
Hmm.
then we usually the reason why you would stop scaling that list
Hmm.
is because it's only monetary reasons, right? It's like I simply just am not getting the ROI on my spend of the lead,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So then if you in certain niches, it's really fun.
Hmm.
If you're just creative, you just need to build a bigger offer, a bigger product. Like your average
Hmm.
order value just needs to go up.
100%.
And if you can get your average order value up, then you can continue to spend more to get that email address,
Yep.
and then you can really scale. So if you're like let's say the fitness trainer, yeah, you're selling shirts at first, but
Hmm.
eventually you kind of like are building a course that you sell for $300. You can
Hmm.
change someone's life.
Yep.
You could all of a sudden, instead of 30 cents per lead that you're willing
Hmm.
to spend, you can probably spend $3 per lead to all of a sudden.
100%.
And you can really scale this thing up to be probably $1 million brand. I mean,
Yeah.
$1 million business in a short couple of years, maybe less.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's where it comes down to, like, then it becomes like you're gonna have to really kind of start learning your Facebook ads, and you got to
Yeah.
start learning creative, and that's where it gets a little tricky if you want to go
Advanced.
down that road,
Yep.
right? Because then you're like, okay, yes, I know that over a 60-day period I'm recouping my money, but then you're also putting out money. And when you start going, and I've been there, when you go from spending, $5 a day to $100 a day to $1,000 a day, you start paying attention to what the
There you
ads
go.
are doing. You're like, whoa, wait, yes, like yesterday we lost $1,000. Today we made 1,010. Okay, but yesterday so then it's becoming
Yeah.
a balancing act. Um, I don't advise anybody who's starting out to do that,
No.
but what I definitely would recommend is to get your feet wet, is to do what I just said, is like do the giveaway. Because here's the other thing that the giveaway does is, and I don't mean just like give away like one garden flag, right? For that you're selling for $25. Like it's not enough of a draw. It needs to be something that is, to me, I like $100 or more of value. So
Okay.
I would take like 5 of your products, bundle them together, and have the ultimate bass fishing or the ultimate,
That's right. I did
yeah,
this. I followed
yeah,
your framework and did this back in the day for Amazon. Yep.
yeah, it's the same idea. So basically, you do the bundle, you drive them to a landing page. From there, the other cool thing is within Facebook, not to get too nerdy, but we would drop a pixel on that
Yep.
landing page, and then people that don't actually give you their email address, we still have them as a targetable audience. We can retarget them later. That's a little more advanced. And I do believe in EverBee email
Yeah, you
in
do
the
that.
landing page, because I think that's a suggestion that we had made. There's
Yep.
now a place to put a pixel, put that code, so we can start building a custom audience on the back end of that. Again, a little bit more advanced, but understand that it's there if you want it.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
advanced, but it's not a short-term play here. This is like a lifelong
no,
skill you'll continue to use for the next 15 years until,
yeah,
like,
you call
the next thing comes
you
along.
you kind of call that like your invisible list, because you don't see it, but you can be building that. So if you're driving traffic to a landing page, but people aren't putting, maybe, like I would say a good conversion rate on that landing page for us would be like 30%.
Okay.
If you're getting above 30%, you're doing really good. And but you got to remember, if you're getting 30% conversion, meaning someone's coming in the door and they're giving you their email address, we still don't know if they bought, but we're still looking at just like how many people are entering their email address.
Mhm.
30%. Well, there's 70% that didn't. But if we have a tracking pixel on there, all of those people become part of my custom targetable audience, right?
Love it.
So that there's like another little hidden thing that you can do within Facebook ads, and you're not like, you still have another attempt if you want to build that custom audience, because now you're targeting the people that showed interest.
Yep. Hey, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. This is the ending of part 1 of a 2-part series episode. Stay tuned for part 2.